at Gopal's, which is a Krishna restaurant on Swanston Street, right in sort of the centre of Melbourne. It's just fantastic. Like I just had a vegetarian lasagna, had an apple juice, couple of salads, and just had this kind of typical Indian dessert with custard. Probably less than $20 all up. So really good food, really good place. And you can see on where is it? There's the Gita. Yeah, they've got the Gita on display. And what's so significant about the Gita? Well, can a book come to life? Typically, the movie going back a long time. There was a movie, the Never-Ending Story, and so there's this young kid. He kind of got this book and from this kind of a bookstore, and as was reading it, it actually came to life in the actual scenes that occurred in the book. So it sort of came to life. You have to watch the movie if you to see what I'm sort of getting at. But that was just a movie. That was just fiction. But can a book actually come to life in reality? Well, it can. And of course, the Baron experienced this through this book, the Gita, or more specifically, the Bhagavad Gita, as it is. It needs to be the as it is version, because it's written by Srila Prabhupada, who is in disciplic succession from Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and wrote this commentary based on the knowledge distributed from Krishna. And so, of course, the Baron, read this book 3 times, and there was this there was a spiritual tree. So, and not only a spiritual tree, but also sort of the whole backyard. So there were creatures formed out of the leaves of the trees. There were the faces of bears blowing. So I could sit up from the kitchen. There were photos. There were images of like animals and angels appearing in the photos, which were typically sort of visible from the naked eye. Visible just by taking a camera shot. So the whole backyard was basically an art gallery just on reading this book, the Bhagavad Gita, as it is. And the other interesting thing is the movie Avatar. How the animals sort of come to life, start to and the trees, the trees start to interact with the avatars, the people in the movie, and so that's what could and again that's what could actually potentially happen. Given that the fact that there is spiritual consciousness, or there is a piece of God in particular, or this super soul, which of course is the Holy Spirit, or the Spirit of God, or Spirit of Lord, or just the Spirit. And so there is a piece of God, or actually Krishna. It's a piece of Krishna in every living entity, 8.4 million species of life. And so energy or spiritual consciousness is energy emitted from this God, and can actually it can come to life. The animals or the trees can interact. Given the fact, yes, there is a piece of God, and of course there is spiritual consciousness. And my tree, there were not only creatures formed out of the leaves, but there was the 2 top objects on the tree. Actually, it sort of glowed at night time. It's even difficult to explain. It was basically spiritual art. Which was verified by my neighbour. This was back in 2019, and so the movie, the Avatar, is not just a movie. It could potentially occur in reality, along with the Never-Ending Story, and so a book itself can actually come to life by actually reading a book. So yes, we live in a spiritual universe. Okay, I'm gotta log up. I've got to go and do my laundry. Well, I was kind of camping So the last few nights, and then I was in Ballarat a couple of nights before that. I was going to say, yeah, in terms of the mine. So yes, Sovereign Hill or the gold mine, definitely worth seeing on a visit. There's also Bendigo. There's Bendigo mine. I'm assuming that's gold as well. There's also the Beaconsfield gold mine where those two were trapped. It was at Todd Russell and Grant Webb, from memory. They were trapped, and there was that whole story about escaping, about coming up from the mine about how many weeks later, and they lived. They were trapped. They were trapped underground. The mine is now closed at Beaconsfield, but it's worth. I think it's worth visiting for the history, given that was such a big story, kind of globally. Some other mines, yes, there's Coober Pedy, the opal mining capital of the world. Coober Pedy is definitely worth seeing, and everything is kind of underground. There's also a Broken Hill. I don't think that's not gold. That's I don't know, forget now. But Broken Hill is historic and a place worth seeing. It's only about 5 hours from Adelaide. It's closer to Adelaide than it is from Sydney, and that's why it goes off Adelaide time in Broken Hill. And there's also there's some pub, Silverton pub. You can go to. I haven't been to Silverton pub, but there's this one pub which is meant to be worth, I don't know, going to from Broken Hill. There's a few other things, and there's also the Prohart. Prohart lived in Broken Hill, and you can also see the Prohart house, which is now turned into a museum, and his artworks and his car and so on. Okay, that was the Brown and Breaks from Gopals Christian Temple on